Mark Messersmith traveled from Tallahassee, Florida to Lake Charles, Louisiana for the gallery talk and opening reception at 1911 Historic City Hall Arts and Cultural Center. He shared his inspirations, observations, and concerns for the creatures in his body of work titled Southern Mythology. Messersmith is a professor of art at Florida State University, where he has taught since 1985. His trademark format is a large oil painting crowned with an elaborate pediment that sits atop a row of ornate framed sculptural boxes. He is represented by Valley House Gallery in Dallas, Texas.
We're from Tallahassee, Florida, which is really similar to Lake Charles in terms of the environment, the animals, the climate. I-10, we share that. And I grew up in the Midwest in St. Louis. I don't know if you know St. Louis or Missouri, but there's really nothing there when I was a kid that I was interested in painting in terms of the landscape or the environment or the birds, because all that has been turned to golf courses and front lawns, and there's nothing there but rabbits and squirrels and blue jays. So we moved to Tallahassee in 1985, and I was really taken by the wildlife, the birds particularly, the large herons and egrets. And I thought, you know, that was only on television, like those nature shows or something like that. And the stuff was still out there, and I got really captivated, particularly with the birds. So I started getting interested in learning about them and dealing with the environments and the things they ate, and maybe a little bit of the challenges they faced in the world today, whether it's challenges faced by other animals or just the challenge of dealing with the human sort of encroachment in their spaces. So the paintings are really kind of about that. You know, I suppose, I guess you would say I'm an environmentalist, but I'm more of a painter. And if I was really a really hardcore environmentalist, I'd probably be a fundraiser, work for Nature Conservancy, be a lawyer advocate for the wilderness, but I'm not. I'm a painter. And the paintings aren't about a kind of trying to convince people or propaganda. They're just paintings, really, for me, things that I'm interested in. So, you know, I hope you find something interesting in the paintings, but I'm not trying to sway anybody's opinions, change their outlooks, because again, they're paintings. They're about the wilderness, but they're also about the history of painting and the subjects of painting. There's the choice of subject matter in terms of the environment and the birds, but then there's also the format. You know, I'm interested in this idea of medieval altarpieces, you know, churches. And I don't have any real church convictions, religious convictions of any kind, but I like the format, again, of those type paintings. I'm also interested in a lot of the painters who came to Florida right after the Civil War. I sort of like the idea of these people coming down from the Northeast and experiencing Florida, North Florida, and really being captivated by that sort of environment. And even at that point, you know, we're talking like 1870s maybe, realizing the fragileness of it. And what's interesting to me about the notion that some of that is still there, just like here in Louisiana. I mean, there's still places where it really hasn't changed that much. There's still those animals that are surviving, and there's still that wilderness out there. And I'm sort of interested in that point where human interaction and those sort of reserves for the animals sort of still come together and hopefully try and find a balance.
Mark Messersmith's Southern Mythology will be on display at 1911 Historic City Hall Arts and Cultural Center through August 23rd.